Running up the score. Jerry.
He just sucks.
He's not good.
let's just put it out on the table. He's not a good quarterback.
Tom.
Oh, way to join a team that already won a title.
Let's hope some people still get thrown at and, get hit in baseball.
Keep it interesting,
right?
Yeah. Where's that quarter? Let me look at that one more time.
I dare you to watch it and tweet us. Tell us, oh, you know what? This is a hell of a sport.
Where's this been all my life? I'm done. No, I'm done. This is running up the score.
It is running up the score.
We're done here.
All right?
We're done here.
This is Running Up the Score. And it starts now.
All right, it's time to run up the score. Running up the score with Jerry Napoleonello, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Brought to you by Yelphi Sports App. We are live on Zeno Live and Periscope. Again, I'm here with Tom Galopani. The call-in number is, as always, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. We have a lot to get to today. If you are watching on Periscope, we will try, if I spot that you ask us a question, any of your comments, I'll try to address your comment or question as long as I could see it. I have it on my phone right now, so I still have to kind of look down to see it pop up. But if you have any questions, you have any comments you want to bring up, that is where you can do it. I'll try to answer if I see it. We got a great show ahead of us. Thank you to our sponsor, Yelphi Sports App. You can download the app from the iTunes App Store by searching Yelphi. It's spelled YELLFY. Make sure to follow me at Jerry RUTS Sports and Tom at Tom RUTS Sports, and we'll shoot you a follow back. It's a great app. But first, remember to join in with our conversation through the next hour here by calling in at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live, or tweet us at RUTS Sports. You can also follow us on Instagram at the same name, RUTS Sports, and like our page on Facebook. So, Tom, how was your weekend?
It's going good. A little hectic with moving back to the parents.
Yes.
In a good way. I'm not out of money or struggling or anything like that. But just dealing with that. But I'm ready, man. I'm ready. It was a lot more interesting stuff happening this week.
I'm a happy man. I am a happy man.
That's what I like to hear.
The Yankees made some big moves to bolster their team. I mean,
obviously we'll get into it, but they didn't give up the farm.
That was the biggest thing, I'm happy about that.
Definitely.
But altogether, I think they did a great job, and like you said, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Your sports headlines from the past week in sports.
Yankees make solid moves before the trade deadline. Dodgers bolster their rotation with the acquisition of Yu Darvish. We'll get into some more trade deadline talk. Did we just have the game of the year and play of the year in baseball?
Short answer, yes.
All in one game. The Phillies have decided to cancel Pete Rose's Wall of Fame induction or whatever they want to call it.
It's something planned.
Yeah, whatever. Hall of Fame game in the NFL and Hall of Fame inductions coming up this week. The Hall of Fame game is actually tomorrow, Thursday, and we have the Hall of Fame inductions on Saturday as well. Jamal Adams made some comments that maybe opened some eyes of people, and we'll get into that. John Jones made his way back to the UFC, and in a big way. We're happy to see that.
Yes.
Dana White made a mistake calling out Tyron Woodley, and Tyron Woodley definitely came back.
There's more of a fight between these two than the actual fight that took place.
Firing on all cylinders. Melo changes his mind about the Cavs with Kyrie demanding a trade, and Iverson gets suspended from the Big Three. for being a no-show. So that was interesting. Those were the headlines from the past week in sports, and we'll get into all of those today on the show. Remember to join in with our conversation here. And call in at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. You can comment on Periscope. We'll try to answer it, as best as we could. You can also tweet us at RUTS Sports. And follow our Facebook page. And you can also follow us on Instagram as well at RUTS Sports. So we'll get into the MLB Trade Deadline. And there were some big winners, some big losers. But the big names have finally,
There's so much
made a
talk
splash.
for weeks, especially with Sonny Gray. It's been going on for weeks with this guy.
And we talked about it last week, and we just basically threw out 3 names out there: Justin Verlander, Sonny Gray, and Yu Darvish. We said that, we thought that Verlander would be a great acquisition for the Astros. It seemed like they tried, but it didn't go down. But that does not mean that Justin Verlander is not going to end up on Houston, because, you have the August waiver deals. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if, Justin Verlander is one of those guys. There's a couple of bats that will probably be moving. The biggest thing with the waiver deals is, the other team's got to just pick up that contract. So, we'll see what happens with that. But the Yankees make a deal, and they bring in Sonny Gray about an hour before the trade deadline hit. So this is big for the Yankees. The Yankees needed pitching. They go out and get Jaime Garcia the day before, which was a big deal, to have at the end of their rotation. Basically the Yankees, what they did in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they basically turned their team and turn their rotation into a big league rotation. They turn their bullpen into even more solid of a bullpen. Some may say the best in baseball. Some may say the best in the AL. I think it's definitely best in the AL.
I think it's best in the league.
But it's definitely up there, definitely. I'm happy about that. The Yankees, they trade away 3 prospects in the Sonny Gray deal. Everybody was talking about Blake Rutherford being one of the guys that was traded in the Todd Frazier deal. We spoke about that. It's not that big of a deal. And then, the Sonny Gray thing goes as well. And I posted on Twitter, I posted on Instagram, basically saying to the Yankee fans, chill out.
Yeah.
Chill out. This is something that they had to do. This is a must deal. And I understand exactly what the Yankees did. It had to be done. It had to be done. And for you to be upset or think that they gave up too much, I was hearing it on the radio. I saw it on Twitter. I saw it, just basically the Yankees, basically people saying that the Yankees gave too much, that they're upset with the deal. They don't think that Sonny Gray is that good. And what I basically had to say to everybody was basically, you have James Caprillion, who's was the pitcher in the deal. He's just getting off of Tommy John surgery, so he's out for the season. I was going to mention
that 2 of the 3 guys they traded are out for the year,
and big injuries. These are big injuries. So
I think Fowler's
the one that he blew out his knee. He was the one that made his MLB debut. The first inning, blows out his knee, didn't even get an at bat. So, he's supposed to be a solid outfielder. James Caprillion is supposed to be a top-end, basically a top-of-the-rotation type pitcher, which is, all well and good, but you don't know. This is all suspicion.
Not to mention you still have top prospects that are outfielders on top of already having a good outfield.
Exactly, and that's the thing. You basically, you made the deal for this, and when it comes to Dustin Fowler, it's not It's not that big of a deal. With the Yankees, they did not give up any of their untouchables. They did not give up Gleyber Torres. They did not give up Chance Adams. They did not give up Justice Sheffield. They did not give up, Clint Frazier. These are guys that, are untouchable. These are the guys that you do not want to get rid of because they're already making a splash in the majors. Maybe not Gleyber Torres. He probably would have been making a splash if he didn't get hurt, which, sucks, but these are the type of players that are already making a splash. You'll probably see Chance Adams and Justice Sheffield come September. But you're happy to see this. And some of these guys, the guys that they gave up in the Jaime Garcia deal, 2 pitchers, low A.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And, everybody kind of talked about, these guys are actually really good prospects. But they weren't even going to be... they weren't going to be on the 40-man roster. So come the Rule 5 draft, they might have lost these guys for nothing. And they just got a very good bottom of the rotation type pitcher in Jaime Garcia.
Good, spot pitcher if anything happens.
So you're happy about that. And
I feel like people are taking the prospect thing just way too far now.
What are you supposed to? Are you just supposed to hoard all of these?
It's getting a little ridiculous at the point where I'm going on ESPN, going through the comments, just everyone is so obsessed with prospects now.
I know.
But it's like the Yankees. I mean, they weren't supposed to be in a win now situation this year, but they are.
Yeah, exactly.
They are.
And it's funny because you are in love with those comment section on ESPN. I mean, everything that we basically talk about, you're talking about the comment section on ESPN, and it's the truth though, because you're getting what people are talking about, what the fans are saying.
I can't read the name of the 19-year-old prospect that was in the Sonny Gray trade.
Well, you had Jorge Mateo, who everybody was like, I can't believe that he had no spot.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a good prospect, but he has no spot on this, on this team. He's already double blocked because you have Didi Gregorius, you have Gleyber Torres. Didi's still young, Starlin Castro's still young. Gleyber Torres is the top prospect in their farm system. It got to the point where he didn't have a spot that they were playing him in the outfield. And then when you look at the outfield, we have an abundance amount of outfielders. So, you have to give up talent to get talent.
And it was the same. We'll obviously touch on it a little more, but with the Dodgers thing, same thing with the comment people. It's like, how could we give up this? You have the best team in baseball, and you just got Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
And you're worried about a 19-year-old prospect?
Exactly. That's
I'm sorry, but people need to get their heads.
Because when you really think about it, 19-year-old prospect. When are you going to see him? And the other thing is when people start talking about James Caprillion, the guy's 24. He's already 24.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray is 27, and he's been in the league for 4 years.
There have been plenty of prospects in the past that were supposed to be this, supposed to be that.
Exactly.
It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen like that. You can't hoard prospects. You look at teams that hoard prospects, how many championships have they won?
Now, my biggest, question / not really concerned with money, Yankees fan, but
the injuries.
Not just the injuries, but it's the Athletics did not have to trade Sonny Gray this year.
No, they didn't.
They did not have to. No. They could have waited till next year if they didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah.
And obviously these aren't the they could have done better in it, you know what I mean? So it's is there something the Athletics are kind of hiding from?
To be honest with you, there is a lot of questions about Sonny Gray's health. Mm-hmm. So what the Athletics figured was we don't want to wait
until he gets hurt.
Till he gets hurt,
okay.
Maybe even with a worse injury.
Mm-hmm.
But then also it would be to that point, if you tried to trade him next year, then you're kind of working at the gun because it's like you kind of...
Does he have 2 or 3 years?
They got him until 2019.
Okay.
So it's kind of, if you keep waiting on Sonny Gray, then it's you kind of handcuff yourself because then it starts to get to a point where you have to get rid of him. And then that's when you're forced to get rid of somebody, that's when you start to get, worse of a deal. So
that's when you get the Paul George return.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. But you know what? The Paul George, I mean, that's all on Indiana because Indiana had a hell of a lot better deals on that.
They got hosed.
I wouldn't even say they got hosed. They created it themselves because they had some deals on the table that really, really worked out.
That were better than what actually came through.
Absolutely. So, to me, I thought that the Yankees did very well in this one. Because the Dodgers did very well as well.
Comparing the two, I mean, Dodgers got a rental.
Yeah.
Yankees did not get a rental.
No, they got the guy until 2019.
Barring a serious injury, they won that trade by far.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Absolutely. The Dodgers, on the other hand, they needed a number 2 pitcher. They're hoping that Clayton Kershaw comes back. I mean, supposedly he's already going to throw. I think it was yesterday or today. He'll be throwing off of flat ground. So we'll see what happens with that. That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a Dodgers fan, he'll probably be back the end of August, I would have to say.
Which is a good time. You still got
you still get a couple
September
starts.
to get a couple starts, and you don't have to
absolutely
throw him out there for complete games or anything.
No.
But, let him get his 6 innings just to get comfortable again.
They also got 2 lefties in other deals as well for bullpen, and that's another thing that they needed because, the biggest thing was they were thinking about the hitters that they're going to end up facing come playoff time. Mm-hmm. And that's you're looking at Bryce Harper, you're looking at Daniel Murphy, you're looking at guys like that you're kind of a little worried about, that you kind of need a lefty specialist to come in to get rid of to get these guys out. So I thought they did very well for the playoffs. They're probably the most complete team in the league.
And they didn't break the farm, if you will, either.
No.
I believe it was
They still have their top prospect.
Their 4th best prospect. They're 17th and 20-something.
Yeah.
So now, a hypothetical question to you is, Sonny Gray or Yu Darvish for the Yankees, seeing what the Dodgers gave up to get Yu Darvish, would you have liked to see the Yankees have gone after him more rather than Sonny Gray, or because it is just a rental temporarily? But the Yankees were one of the teams that he would sign for.
The biggest thing with Yu Darvish was he's not having a good year.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to want a lot of money this offseason.
Don't get me wrong. This guy has electric stuff, and there's times where he looks like he's unhittable. But adding all that together, he's a rental. Not to mention, I think the biggest thing is when it comes to a rental with the Yankees, I think it comes to that point where you're playing for the Yankees, and it's if it's a rental, there's a more likely chance that you're going to sign them back, just because it's the Yankees. Mm-hmm. They're a fun team right now. They have all these young players. I mean, who doesn't want to see Aaron Judge hitting 450-foot home runs every night that you're playing, and just getting to see this guy up close and personal?
I think the only thing is that
the biggest thing is, though, with it is Sonny Gray, the last 6 starts, has a sub-2 ERA. And Yu Darvish, I mean, this year I think has a 5 ERA or whatever it is.
And as good as the Yankees are, they're, I believe, a half game out of first place.
Yeah.
They're not in a position that they need a rental.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not worth the risk, I guess.
No, they got a big league rotation. Yeah. When you're looking at, you got Severino, you got Gray now, you have Garcia, you have Sabathia, and you have Tanaka. And so that it takes the pressure off of Tanaka as well to be the ace, because now you have Severino, who is showing that he could be an ace, but I think you're going to put him as the number 2. And you got Sonny Gray, who is an ace, so you have him as the number 1. And then you got CC Sabathia, who will still give you solid games.
Solid 5.
Yeah.
And I think, what was I going to get into here?
Yeah, I know. I apologize.
What was it?
Basically, Sonny Gray, Yu Darvish.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Yankees last year, with trading Chapman before the break, getting that return, everybody was kind of, Are they going to get him back in the offseason?
Yeah.
They got him back. So now even with the Dodgers getting Yu Darvish, even if they win a World Series, which the Cubs did with Chapman, they could still sign Yu Darvish in the offseason.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. Like, you know, when it came to Chapman, I mean, the Yankees hosed the Cubs for what for Chapman,
and then the Cubs hosed Chapman.
Yeah, and you know and then the Yankees ended up signing Chapman, and you know, so it was like, all right, I'm going to trade him to you. Go win a World Series because we're not World Series worthy right now. Go win a World Series. We want your top prospect. Bring him over here in Gleyber Torres, which, I mean, that made the Yankees farm system one of the top because you're looking at Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is, I think, a top 5 prospect or a top 10 prospect when it comes to the top 50 or whatever. So right there, it was like, all right, we're going to take your top prospect, but then we're going to sign him back in the offseason. So the Yankees, I mean, Brian Cashman, I can't even say more great things about Brian Cashman and the work that he's been doing the last 2 years.
We talked about it last week. He kind of started as a puppet, if you will, under
and he still did a good job as a puppet.
No, he did. But it was just like, you know, what is he actually doing? It's not that hard to just throw all his money at people. The past few years, he's actually been able to show what he can do as a GM, and he's one of, if not the best in baseball.
Oh, absolutely. Talking about, you know, the Red Sox playing the Indians last night.
Crazy.
I think it's the best game of the year so far.
Yes.
I would have to say. This game was back and forth. It came down to a walk-off home run by Vasquez for the Red Sox. But in this game, I mean, the catch that Austin Jackson, ex-Yankee by the way, made was unbelievable. I mean, he dove into the bullpen and still made the catch. So I think it's play of the year.
If you have not seen it, I don't know. I don't know where you've been, but watch it.
Now, Red Sox didn't make a move. Well, they didn't make big moves. They ended up getting Addison Reed from the Mets.
They do more of their action in the offseason, I feel like.
Yeah. Now, the biggest thing is the Red Sox, they're not living up to the hype going into this year. Chris Sale, I mean, has, other than getting rocked last night, but it just, you know, he's lived up to the hype. The Red Sox have not.
I think the biggest moment of knowing that the Red Sox we know where they're supposed to be is that stretch when the Yankees went 10-22.
Yeah.
And everybody was, all right, this is where it's over now. Yeah. Here we are, half game back.
That was the biggest thing, and we even said it on the show. I basically said, you know, the Red Sox are really screwing up.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Yankees are just losing every game, and they're not doing anything about it.
They're not.
I mean, the fact that the Yankees are half a game, obviously because of last night, the Yankees lost, the Red Sox won. They're half a game back of the Red Sox. And they went on a stretch of, like you said, they won 10 out of, you know, 32 games.
If you can't break away with that roster that you have, there's something.
Not to mention, though, when they played each other, the Yankees were down 3 games in the East. The Red Sox could have put the East away by either sweeping or winning 2 out of those games, and they didn't. They went on I think it was a 4-game series. So the Red Sox could have really buried the Yankees.
Oh yeah,
and they didn't. And I think, to be honest with you,
not as good as people think they should have been.
That series also, I think, turned around the Yankee season. I think the Yankees started to get a little hotter. They went into the All-Star break, this and that.
Hey, we're in it. We can do this.
Exactly. Your Orioles didn't make a move, basically.
They would have been sellers anyway.
Well, that was the thing. A lot of people thought that they were going to get Britton. But the Orioles feel like they're still able to go for it.
No.
An Orioles fan, people.
It's a tough life.
Yeah.
I had 2012 was that first winning season. I had a nice 4.5 year run.
Yeah.
Now it's back to the gutter.
Yeah. But right there shows you, and not even to rub it in your face or anything, but how good of an organization the Yankees are.
No, we have a terrible owner.
Because the Yankees, they were pretty dreadful. They went through a rebuilding stage.
But the rebuilding stage wasn't that bad. Because
that's what I'm saying.
Towards the end of last year, it was like, this is what we like to see going into next season.
Even the rebuilding stage,
I think
they were still winning.
Sanchez helped a lot last year.
Absolutely.
That rebuild.
You know, when you can take a rebuilding stage and still turn it into a one-game playoff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you go into a rebuilding stage, you look at some of these teams that have rebuilt their team. They're not even sniffing the playoffs.
Yeah, and the big thing with the Yankees is they have the money, obviously, to get whatever they need to fill the positions they need to fill. Like, if they want to get Yu Darvish in the offseason, they can.
And they're not even doing that, though. That's the thing. Like, they're not showing off their cash. And that's...
Well, when is A-Rod's after 2000...
This year.
This year is Teixeira and A-Rod, right?
This year, I think, is A-Rod.
I thought they were both the same year.
I think this is A-Rod and CeCe's year.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah.
And I think Teixeira is the next or the year after.
That's what it was.
So the Yankees, I mean, they're clearing cap space.
I could see CeCe coming back, too, obviously for a lot less money.
Oh, yeah.
He's shown he's still got some gas in that tank.
So the Phillies were going to try to do something nice for Pete Rose, being that the baseball itself is not doing anything nice for Pete Rose.
That's a show in itself.
But the fact of the matter is a report came out, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, basically saying that Pete Rose in the 70s had relations with a underage woman, which obviously is considered statutory rape. And the Phillies have canceled their ceremony for Pete Rose, and now it's just getting worse and worse for Pete Rose.
It's sad. It's funneling on to him.
And I feel bad because if there's anybody to ever basically deserve the Hall of Fame, it's Pete Rose. And the fact that he's just not, I mean, it's tough to say. And I'm not saying statutory rape, no, but it's.
First of all, we don't know if there's any facts to that.
Yeah, this is in the 1970s, so who knows?
We're talking about almost 50 years ago now. Not saying it's right or wrong, but we just don't know.
Even if it was, we're not saying, like I said, we're not saying, statutory. It's just,
A, we don't know if it's factual, and B, there are bad
the comment just said on Periscope, allegedly.
Yeah, exactly, and there are terrible people in the Hall of Fame. Cough, cough, Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
Blatant racist and just a terrible human being.
There's a lot of terrible human beings that are in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Let me tell you.
Exactly.
All right. There's
cheaters,
infidelity. There's just drunks, alcoholics. There's a bunch of
we can go on and on.
Just bad people.
So if
same thing goes for the NFL.
If it comes down to keeping him out for the integrity, no. Please just don't even give us that because of the people that are already in your Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. I mean, just, the fact that the guy that has the hit record is not in the Hall of Fame. And like I've always said this guy did not bet against his team. He bet with his team. He basically said, we're going to win.
The only counter I've heard to that, though, is that if he didn't bet,
games that he didn't, bet,
does he think they're going to lose?
Yeah.
But in the same sense, as we were talking about last week with Bonds and Sosa and all of them, if you want to put him in that wing, too, then fine. But he has to be there.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but he has to be there. There was no,
and I think there's also things in the Hall of Fame about Pete Rose, but Pete Rose is just not in it.
Yeah.
So it's.
If I was Pete Rose, I would say take it out.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been to the Hall of Fame in a while.
Me either.
It's been a couple of years.
That's how I became an Orioles fan, by the way.
I know.
Just a quick little update on my life. Nugget of information for you guys out there.
So, I do plan on going to the Hall of Fame, especially when Jeter gets inducted. I'll be there.
I don't have anyone to look forward to for that for quite a while.
Well, maybe later on in Manny Machado's career.
Oh, when he signs with
the Yankees, so.
And he goes in as a Yankee because he'll probably actually win there.
So, Hall of Famer. Talking about Hall of Fame. Dennis Eckersley.
This one just irks me. This just... I didn't like David Price to begin with, and this just makes it worse.
David Price. I've never liked David Price.
The only time I ever liked David Price was when he came in the playoff game with the Rays, when the Rays were just like, oh my, the Rays are in the playoffs, and he came in and he pitched pretty well, and I was just like, wow, like the Rays might actually have something here.
That was all that one game. In the playoffs.
That one game was the only time I liked David Price. That was it.
He's just like. He's very thin-skinned, as I said, when we were talking about it.
Boston's not the best place to play when you're thin-skinned.
No, absolutely not.
He would be getting roasted in New York.
Yeah, we were basically talking about this in our pre-show meeting, and just basically saying David Price is very thin-skinned, like we said, and he lets things get to him, and he's kind of like Kevin Durant in a way.
I would say even worse because
he's
this
definitely
situation
worse.
is just because it's not even him that's involved.
And he doesn't kind of he doesn't back up his talk. Basically, the fact that he's still on the DL, like he's
especially
hurt,
with
and it's just
the comments he said directly to Eckersley with the plane situation, which we'll get into. That's what got me the most mad about this whole situation.
All right, well, we'll try to get this in as quickly as possible because we're running up against the clock here. David Price, basically, I guess he was watching a broadcast. I don't know, like how. I guess he had to have been watching it. And
no, I think he heard it after.
Well, who would say something like that anyway? I don't know. What happened was I think it was a rehab stint for a teammate of David Price, and numbers flashed up on the screen, and basically Dennis Eckersley, who was on the broadcast, said yuck.
Ooh.
And David Price just
ever say that to me
went off on it. This is basically what he had to say. On a, like as you were saying, on a trip with the team on their charter aircraft. He basically, as Dennis Eckersley walked by, David Price said, "Here he is, the greatest pitcher who ever lived." While surrounded by his teammates, many of whom feel Eckersley is too critical, which. He's doing his job, first of all. You can't say that someone else is too critical who is on the broadcast.
And
because that's what they're supposed to do.
And as I said before, Michael K. rips Yankees.
Oh, absolutely.
Day in, day out. He says it on broadcast show. He says it on his radio show. That's his job. That's their
Troy
job.
Aikman kills the Cowboys.
Yeah, their job is to criticize the team.
Whoever they're broadcasting, that's what your job is. You have to tell it like it is.
If you see something that's not good, it's not good.
Yeah, and if you can't understand that, first of all, you should not be in this profession.
Second of all, if the word yuck offends you, that's an issue on its own. That's as thin-skinned as it gets.
So then when Eckersley tried to respond, David Price said, "Get the blank out of here."
And Eckersley had every right to rip into David Price.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was the bigger man, wanted to talk about the situation, maybe try and figure out a solution, just get it in the past.
Yeah.
And what does thin-skinned David Price do? Curses at him.
Yeah. And, it didn't stop there. There was more incidents from there. But Dennis Eckersley was given a round of applause, a standing ovation from the Red Sox fans. So that was nice.
It's kind of saying that we like you more than David Price.
Exactly.
And not to mention, as I said, we were talking about before, win a playoff game.
Exactly.
And then maybe in a slight sense, you can even be in the same conversation as a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Exactly. But hey, Tom, doesn't it get annoying when you're watching sports? Let's say you want to send a text to your friend or tweet something out about the game or just check your fantasy team. Or, hey, how about you want to go to the game and even set up a tailgate party and you have to go to all these different apps, websites, etc. to do all of that? What if you could just go to one place for all of this?
What is that place?
Well, I'm here to tell you there is a place like that, and it's Yell5 Sports app. You can get detailed real-time scores, stats, news, rumors, fantasy news, team and player comparisons, built-in social network feature which is integrated with Twitter and Facebook, create private one-to-one or group chat with your friends, buy and sell tickets, host a tailgate party, or even a pickup game. One sports app for all your sports information. Make sure you go download Yell5 Sports app in the iTunes App Store. Yell5, the only sports app that you need.
All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Hey, this is Jerry Napoleonello, host of Running Up the Score. We are live once every week at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we hit on all the top headlines in the world of sports. You can also find us on Stitcher, iTunes, and those of you that like the visual aspect, check us out on YouTube. Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio.
Cyberstation USA is the future of radio. Get your business into the online future at the world's largest internet radio station. From banner placement on our homepage to any of our broadcaster stages, commercials on our video player, audio spots on any of our shows, or at the beginning of any of our on-demand broadcasts. Cyberstation USA offers competitive rates with a worldwide reach, a fully integrated one-stop shop social media broadcast platform. For more information, please contact our sales department at Cameo@cyberstationusa.com.
Hey, this is Tom Gallipani, co-host of Running Up the Score. Remember to catch us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RUTS Sports. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube, where you will get the full Running Up the Score experience. Running Up the Score. Rerun up the score on Sports Radio.
Now back to Running Up the Score. Here's Jerry and Tom.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra. And since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to...
All right, Jerry, believe it or not, football is already back. It's the last week without football until February. But first, give us a call in at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. You can also follow and tweet us at RUTS Sports, as well as follow us on Instagram at RUTS Sports. And be sure to check out our website, www.rutsports.weebly.com. So now, let's jump into the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, I screwed up with that. It actually, last week was the last week without football, because the Hall of Fame game is tomorrow. The Dallas Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals. The headline Dallas Cowboys, I guess you could say. You could put the headline in the middle because there's always there's something going on with the Cowboys when it comes to the news.
The most busiest team in the offseason every year.
So there's big news in the NFL today. Sterling Shepard was carted off with tears in his eyes as the doctors checked out his ankle. So that's big. I guess you could say
at least it's not a knee. I mean,
yeah, they're hoping. The early signs is that they're hoping it's just basically he rolled it.
He could be crying because they have a lot of wide receivers and he just lost his job. It could be that too.
That's big news for the Giants and Giant fans. Dominique Easley looks to be out for the season. That's a big loss. And Jordan Reed also got hurt. He's getting a second opinion. But there's a lot of things going on in the NFL. We're just going to quickly hit on it. How about the comments that Jamal Adams of the New York Jets made? Now, you got to realize this guy is a rookie. So this is his first year in the league. And I'm actually going to surprise you with what my take on this is going to be, because I heard your take right before we got on the air. So I'm going to let you give your take. I'll give my take after we hear from Jamal Adams, and this is what he had to say.
All about making the game safer. But as a defensive player, I'm not a big fan of it, but I get it. Again, I can speak for a lot of guys that play the game. We live and breathe, and this is what we're so passionate about. Literally, if I had a perfect place to die, I would die on the field. I would be at peace. Literally, I would be at peace, and that's not a lie. Like, it's so much sacrifice that we go through as a team, and just connecting as one and winning ball games. It's nothing like playing the game of football. But again, I'm all about making the game safer. That's all I can say about it.
So those were the words of Jamal Adams. As I said, a rookie. It's his first year in the NFL. And, how did you feel about him saying that he would, he would die on the field? Like he would be okay with dying on the field.
I'm about 20-80 split, in the sense of 20% I agree, 80% is don't ever talk again. 20% is, as you said, he's a rookie. He is right. They train their whole lives to get to this stage. It's the biggest stage in the sport.
Yeah.
But the 80% kicks in. It's maybe it's just me. I want to pass by my family, near my family, with my family and friends. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
But B, the NFL does not care about you. They do not care about past players, as they've shown numerous times throughout. Just with all the CTE talk and all the they don't treat their guys well. I don't know if it's the players union with the whole they're extremely underpaid for the physically demanding sport that they play.
Absolutely.
So it's just,
and that's been your take for the last couple of weeks that we've been talking about basically the CTE stuff. So I understand your take on that.
It's I mean, there are just better places to, have your final moments.
Yeah.
With family, friends, and just a peaceful state of mind as you go, not just sacrificing yourself to make barely any guaranteed money.
Yeah.
That's me.
All right, so this is my take. And I am 110% understanding of your take. To me, you gotta take a few things into mind here. And I said this over and over again before you made your take. He's a rookie.
One thing, real quick, too, also. You play for the Jets.
Yeah, that too.
Just throw that out there.
Yeah. He's a rookie. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't played in the NFL yet.
Yes.
So now point. This is also him playing out his dream. He's been working towards this his whole life.
Yep.
Every NFL player has.
Yep. That's where my 20% kicks in. Yeah.
Football is a sport that, if you haven't played it, you don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just a sport that kind of gives you that thrilling, it's just a manly sport.
I'm not going to lie, playing younger, when I was younger and everything, I would always line up middle linebacker, Ray Lewis, my boy. But as you say, you just feel a certain way when you're on that field.
Yeah.
You really do.
So I understand what he was saying, and I don't think he was saying it literally. I think, just basically that would. All right, this was a perfect take. I heard this a few times, and I think I actually heard it from Colin Coward, and I'm 110% behind it. If they were to say, you get to be a sports host on a station, but you would have to give up the last 10 years of your life to be this, I would do it. Mm-hmm. I would do it, because this is a thing that I've worked my ass off for. And it's one of the hardest industries to get into. Hence what we're doing right now. This is our way of just trying to get our name out there. We don't get paid to do this. Everybody watching on Periscope, everybody that's going to be watching on YouTube, we don't get paid for this.
No, we were working full-time jobs, working part-time job, 2 part-time jobs. We still have to support paying our bills.
Exactly.
And we don't get that through here, but we're doing this for the chance of what you're saying.
So if they were to be like, all right, listen, you get to be a host, your own show, on the radio or on TV, whatever it is, if you give up your last 10 years of your life, sign me up. Sign me up. So I understand what Jamal Adams is getting at. I don't think he made the comment literally like, oh yeah, I hope I die right on the 50-yard line. No, he's saying that if that's the place he loves to be. Mm-hmm. You have to also put this into consideration. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have kids. So that also puts in, that's got to be put into consideration.
But at the same time, right back at you, you don't either. Obviously, you have a girlfriend.
Yes.
But that 10 years could be a little different 110%. 5 years from now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, it's just, and obviously that's, that's not, discarding my girlfriend at all.
No.
That obviously I am, going to be, with her for the rest of my life. So it's not, with that, it's not, discarding that. It's just kind of going towards.
I think she would even understand, though, in the sense of she's seen you the past few years, how much you've grinded, how much you've worked, how much money you've invested into
this,
into wanting this to be a job that I even think that she would understand it.
Yeah. So, when it comes to Jamal Adams, answers towards this, you
kind of made it 75-25 now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's different. It's different, and you got to kind of look at what he's saying and not to take it literally.
Yeah, and I also think it would be different. I think he'll have a different opinion 2-3 years from now.
Yeah.
Especially when he's going up for his contract and sees how little money he's going to get guaranteed.
There's a lot of NFL players that say they will not ever change a thing. Mm-hmm. Then there's some players that will.
Yeah.
You also got to think, this is for some of these guys, for most of these guys, this is a way of getting them out of poverty. This is a way of getting
bad
them
neighborhoods,
exactly,
hanging with the drug dealers or whatever is going on around there.
So I kind of agree with Jamal Adams, and I understand nobody wants to see, because what CTE does to you, it's not something that you want to see. But
it's honestly worse than the actually dying on the field, to be honest.
And football is not the only, because soccer, there's a lot.
And
nobody talks about it.
No one thinks that soccer would have injuries like that, but getting a ball hit off your head at 40 miles an hour constantly, that's going to do a lot of damage. There was actually a big report on that a few years ago.
Was.
I guess you saw that too. Yeah.
So moving on in the NFL, our last story for the NFL, and it's a big one.
It is.
And as much as I don't want to talk about this, and this is what we were basically talking in our pre-show meeting kind of thing. I don't like talking politics on the radio. That's not something that I want to do. The way that I look at it, and I think you agreed with me, the way I look at it is sports is a way to get away from real life things, politics, money, money problems.
Especially like 10 years ago when cell phones weren't as advanced as they were, when you can just go to a game to go to a game.
Yeah, and just put everything away. Yep. The 3.5 hours or whatever it is of just living in the moment.
Yes.
And that's what sports does.
That's what sports should be.
You live in the moment with sports. Now, politics in sports is where it gets fishy. And I don't like talking about it, but I feel like we have to talk about it now. It's the Baltimore Ravens and Colin Kaepernick. I never agreed with Colin Kaepernick, nor will I ever agree with what he did. The way that he went about everything was wrong.
Yes.
And I don't care what anybody has to say.
And I guarantee you,
it was wrong.
On top of that, however many years from now, he'll say the same thing. He'll say he went about it in the wrong way.
I think he knows he went about it the wrong way.
He can't say it now, though.
Yeah. So he's saying it in other ways. And now this is where he starts to, donate money. He's doing, different things. I think it's his way of basically saying without saying it, I screwed up when I first brought this in, basically into the league. It was like he didn't think about it, but he did think about it. Like he was trying to make a stand. And 110%, you have the freedom in the world. That's the greatest part about being in America is you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do.
My only thing is, I can't think of a name, but I remember hearing it on my way here. An ex-NBA player was basically doing the same. He didn't want to be a part of the national anthem. He would just stay in the locker room. Mr. Kaepernick here
had to be limelight.
Limelight on the field.
Yeah. If
you felt that way, stay in the locker room.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but he did this for attention.
Absolutely. And the thing is, blackballed. I hate hearing that. I hate hearing everybody say he's blackballed. There is a lot of teams that will not sign him because of this. And we understand it. I understand it.
Yeah.
I know
that's
why.
Also part of America.
I know why the teams are not signing him. But it's not just that. He's not that great of a quarterback.
It's not worth the headache.
And I don't care what kind of numbers you bring up. Let's be serious now. He's just not that good of a quarterback, and it's not worth it to deal with the headache of media, of fans outcry of whatever they want, whatever side they want to pick. The thing is, I knew that this was going to be a problem when the Ravens were brought into it because of the whole Flacco injury. Who knows how long he's going to be? They're saying that he's not even going to be out that long. They're saying, if anything, he might miss week 1. And that's the worst case scenario. So Kaepernick, on the other hand, does not want backup money. He wants starter money. And it's just not worth it to give him starter money for him to be the backup and for him to bring all this attention. I mean, everybody has to wake up now. And I'm not – listen, I applaud him for wanting to take a stand towards something. I think he did it the wrong way.
Yes. Agreed, 100%.
And I am behind all the other NFL teams that do not want to sign him because of the headache. When you have the backup quarterback have more news and media and everything about that behind him rather than your starting quarterback, that's a problem. It was a problem with Tim Tebow. It was a problem with Johnny Manziel. Both players, not that good, having more media around them than the actual starting quarterback that's better than them. That's the problem. And I hate bringing up politics when it comes to sports, but this has to be talked about. Yes, I know Harbaugh's behind signing him. I know Ozzie Newsome's behind signing him. The report is that Bisciotti doesn't want to sign him. Then there is a report that Ozzie Newsome came out saying that's not true. Who knows what's going on, but we understand what the difference is about this, and people have to start understanding that. And
this isn't just the Ravens, by the way. There have been multiple teams that have said that coach and GM have wanted him, but the owner doesn't, because the owner deals with the blunt of the media. The owner does not want to deal with the blunt of the media over a backup quarterback who wants starter money, who, not to mention, robbed $96 million from the 49ers because he had one good year.
Exactly.
He got figured out. And he's been terrible since.
That's the thing.
I don't get it.
That was the perfect way of putting that. He got figured out. It was the same thing with everything else. The Wildcat.
Yes, he could throw a little, but when you got figured out in that sense, you need to have a better arm. He does not.
Yeah.
Can we move on now?
Exactly. He's just not a pocket quarterback. He's not a pocket quarterback.
Do people hear our intro? That's Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah,
Jerry is screaming about.
That's who I was talking about. Is that
he's not that good?
He's not that good. But I want to move on from this. Let's get into some great things. And now I just realized that I screwed up and I forgot to put in one clip that I wanted to put in. John Jones called his shot.
Yeah.
He called his shot 3 years before beating Daniel Cormier. So before there, I think it was UFC 174, I want to say, if I remember correctly. It was the first, I don't know if it was the first time or the second time that they were going to fight each other. And they were in their press conference thing, and John Jones basically said, we know the tendencies of Daniel Cormier. We know something that we can do. Then Daniel Cormier says, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen it on tape, this and that. And they kind of like were beating around the bush without saying it. Mm-hmm. And then Daniel Cormier basically came out and said, I know I kind of give up the left kick to the head. That's how he won in the third round against Daniel Cormier 3 years later on Saturday.
We talked about this last week with how Cormier kind of got the title just by default.
Yep.
I seriously feel like in a way he knew John Jones was just better than him.
And that's
you know
why
what I mean.
And you know, I think that's why the whole reaction at the end of the fight with Daniel Cormier crying and this and that, it was like he wanted to believe in himself, but he just knew that he's not. It's hard. It's hard when
John Jones
when
is
you're
a
facing,
freak, by the way.
Like when you're facing John Jones, it's not just his power. He's a lengthy dude.
That's his. Yeah.
I mean, he was a lot bigger than Daniel Cormier.
When you saw in the octagon, he's just bigger. His arms are just freakishly long. His legs are freakishly long. And this was his first fight in what, 2 years?
Yeah,
I believe. And
he was suspended for a year.
Yeah.
Then he came back, tried to fight Cormier again, and failed another test. And then that's when their rules
that's
are
just
that you
freakish athletic ability.
Yeah,
to have your first fight and just third round knockout.
Not to mention it's Daniel Cormier. And don't get me wrong, Daniel Cormier is one of the best fighters in that weight class.
Absolutely.
So
it's no knocks. It's just like. Yeah. He knows John Jones is just a better fighter than him.
Yeah.
And I personally feel that way.
I kind of want to get into this quickly because there's another story that I desperately want to talk about.
This is probably a better fight between these two than the actual Woodley fight.
Yeah, I know. Tyron Woodley, who was I don't think it was it might have been the co-main event.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Tyron Woodley, who I love. I love as a fighter. This guy has a freakish strength behind his right overhook. This guy knocks out people at will. He fought Damian Maia, a known and very, very well-known and good Muay Thai fighter. He likes to get on the ground. He likes to grapple, this and that. So the fight went 5 rounds, obviously, because it was a title fight, and it broke records for the... Basically,
not in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it went that way, Dana White had some comments to make after the fight that Tyron Woodley didn't like. And I mean, I understand it. And this is what Dana White has to say. And then I'm going to have Tyron Woodley's comments after that. So this is Dana White after the fight.
Co-main event, we got to talk about it. Tyron Woodley defeats Damian Maia in a 5-round fight. You didn't look particularly happy with it. We know that the fans were not particularly happy with it. What were your thoughts on the co-main event?
What was there to be happy with? It broke the record for the least punches thrown ever in a title fight. I think it was 130, was the worst fight ever, apparently. This was 60. So, I mean, the numbers speak for itself, and it was just horrible.
Is there any explanation behind it as far as Maia's a tricky guy, you don't want to take risks? Does that excuse fly?
It's hilarious. I swear to God, I'm not even... When we were driving over here in the car, I said that that's the way that fight was going to go. It doesn't surprise me, but to actually have to sit there and watch it for 5 rounds, it's not fun. Watching the people boo and do the wave and, chant "This fight sucks," and it's never fun.
The lights on the phones were coming out in the crowd. That was kind of cool, though.
It's a first. I never seen that either. When you start doing stuff that you do at a baseball game, the fight's bad.
So Tyron, after a performance like that, you had said earlier this week George St. Pierre could be next. That's a fight obviously he wants. Does this performance have any impact on the chances of him fighting St. Pierre?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do it now. Yeah. There you go. Breaking news.
So what does that mean for St. Pierre then?
It means I'll tell you what it means. It means really, really good things for Michael Bisping. Because I know that if I do Michael Bisping versus GSP, Michael Bisping will fight. Michael Bisping will fight.
So that's what Dana White had to say. Just basically bashing Tyron Woodley, bashing him. It was boring. I don't get me wrong, it was boring. I understand that. Because when you see Tyron Woodley, all you think about is knockouts. But when you really think about it, Tyron Woodley, people are saying that he's been playing it too safe since he won the belt. He doesn't want to lose the belt. But with him, he's a stand-up fighter. Damian Maia is not.
I was just going to say, so maybe in a sense this is actually Dana White's fault.
Not to mention that Damian Maia has taken down his opponent every single fight he's had. He did not take down Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley, his basically stopping a grapple was the best. And I think it was 24 times that Damian Maia shot for, a takedown, and Tyron Woodley did not go down. So right there, you should see that, this is a different fight.
Exactly.
And that's something that you got to deal with when you're bringing two different fighters into the octagon.
Woodley was probably thinking, if he goes for a knockout punch, misses, that could be the end of him.
Yeah.
Because he can just get grappled up.
Exactly. So this is what he had to say on the MMA Hour, which I thought was ironic because of Ariel Helwani.
We've been into all this.
So I thought this was funny. But this is on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani show. And this is what Tyron Woodley had to say about Dana White.
I'm owed a public apology. If you want to publicly scrutinize me, Dana White, you publicly need to apologize to me. I've done nothing but good stuff for the sport. I've done nothing but be a good model for the organization. I go out there, I fight with integrity. I covered your sport from the Fox desk a week before my fight. I always uphold my responsibilities with the organization. It's time out for that. You need to be a man. You owe me a public apology. And if I don't get that, I'm going to start leaking some if people don't want to be out in the wind. And I'm not even kidding about that.
Ooh. He's going to be leaking some stuff. So,
man,
the TMZ.
I want the leak.
Yeah, I know. TMZ
want the leak.
Basically spoke to Dana White. Dana White says they're all good. He was just pissed off, this and that. It was kind of ironic. It was kind of weird that right after he said something like that, Dana White turned back.
No, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So, there's that. Now to something that I thought was ridiculous and annoyed me at least.
This should annoy every single person
really
that has a heart beating.
And basically anybody that goes to college. So, a Central Florida kicker is ruled ineligible and loses his scholarship because of a YouTube video or YouTube videos. So, a player, Donald De La Haye, basically what he wants to do with his life is, do something, video editing, this and that, creating videos. This is what he wants to do. YouTube is the best format or platform to do that.
Yep.
Hence why we do it. This is like our show right here is not just on Periscope, because when we're done with this, and for everybody that's watching, this goes on YouTube. And if you want to see all our videos, subscribe to our YouTube page. Type in either Tom and Jerry Sports Show, Running Up the Score, or Jerry Naps, and you'll get my page, our page, and basically all our videos will pop up. So
good thing we're not in college, by the way.
Yeah, basically. I mean, with him, he gets a decent penny.
We don't have to go into that.
But De La Haye, he has a YouTube page that he monetizes his videos. And like he does like funny videos, he does like workout videos, he basically inspiration type videos and stuff like that. So the NCAA is pulling his scholarship, basically gave him an ultimatum. It's either you demonetize your videos and give us all the money that you've made off of those YouTube videos, or you lose your scholarship, you are deemed ineligible to play this year for UCF. And he chose YouTube videos because that's what he wants to do. And he says in a YouTube video, you can also go check out his videos. They're basically
if you hate the NCAA, just go help this guy.
Yeah. His name for YouTube is Destroying, and it's DEE-stroying. So check out his video. His most recent is basically telling you what happened, and basically, it says the waiver that he got. He could maintain his eligibility and continue to monetize videos that did not reference his status as a student athlete or depict his football skill or ability. The waiver also allowed him to create videos that referenced his status as a student athlete or depict his football skill or ability if they were posted to a non-monetized account. So that is, something big, right there. And Social Blade, which is a website that tracks performance of social media accounts, including YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, estimates that De La Haye could make anywhere between $252 and $4,000 per month with his YouTube account as it currently stands.
So let's just, right off that, we're not talking millions here.
No.
That the NCAA is going after. It's just, I can't even I don't have words for just how much of a scam the NCAA is.
Now let's talk about this now. All right. He's making these videos. This is something that he wants to do. He's got a D1 scholarship, and he's playing for Central Florida.
Not to mention, in his videos, he's most likely promoting UCF.
Yeah.
Promoting being, showing cool ways of, being a kicker, doing trick shots and things like that. That's actually helping the sport.
So this is basically, when you're talking about, basically what he's doing, all right? They want him to give up the money that he's made. All right, so now this is a guy that's making the videos. Like I said, this is what he wants to do.
Making them, editing them.
He has a D1 scholarship. He's playing for Central Florida. He chose YouTube videos where he cannot now pay for school because he's trying to do something that he loves rather than have the money to pay for school, obviously, because it's already paid for, and play college football. Yes, he's a kicker, but he's still playing college football. So, I mean, if that's not an inspiration, I don't know what is.
Yep.
This guy is risking his college career, risking his future for something that he loves. So, I mean,
which you shouldn't have to do in the first place.
Well, yeah.
But, no, you're right. It is an inspiration.
Basically, what he said is they wanted him to give up the money that he's made, which is crazy. I worked so hard for it. That's what he said. I'm passionate about this video stuff, so I'm giving it 110%. That's what he said in the most recent video. Back in 2012, Olympic skier and University of Colorado football player Jeremy Bloom sued the NCAA so he can keep his skiing career and the endorsements that came along with it while playing football at his university. And former UCLA basketball star Ed O'Bannon continues to lead an antitrust case against the NCAA over organization using athlete likenesses for profit in things like video games. Either way, the NCAA doesn't want De La Haye or any student athletes profiting off their athlete status on any social platform or within other business ventures.
But we can make billions off you.
Exactly, and that's my point. The fact that they're totally contradicting themselves by saying we can make money off of you, but you can't make money off of yourself.
And now one of the main arguments that people with no brains have is, oh, they get free education. Is that free room and board? Is that not good enough? No, it's not.
What is that scholarship going to do for you after?
Not only that, when you're a student athlete, granted you're a kicker, you still have practice.
Yeah.
Basically year round.
Yeah.
These guys cannot work jobs when they're at school. They have no means of income.
There's no life. There's no social life. There's no, basically, you don't have a normal life.
No.
You wake up in the morning, you go to school, you get done, you go to practice, you come home, you do homework, you go to sleep, you do it all over again the next day.
You might even have practice in the morning, school, then practice again.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a tough
scam.
life, and the fact that he was doing something that he loves is ridiculous. That he's not allowed to play now. And this is just a long list. This is just one part of this long list of the NCAA being basically dictators. And it's ridiculous.
They need to get taken down.
It has to. I mean,
something. The fact that it's even gotten to this point is mind blowing. That nothing has happened yet.
And basically, what we said in the pre-show meeting, what's going to happen to LaMelo Ball?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to LiAngelo Ball when they go to college?
Are they going to be able to wear their own shoes?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to wear, when their shoe comes out, they're not allowed to wear that. They're not allowed to wear their big bowler brand. They can't make any money. How does that work? Because it's LeVar Ball that's doing it, but they're kind of the reason why he's making money off of that. Mm-hmm. So what's the deal?
No, he's not. They are the reason he's making money off of that. So as we said, are they...
what's going to happen?
They have to wear whatever shoes they got assigned. They can't wear their own shoes that their father designed for them.
It's ridiculous. It's horrible. And the
Please,
NCAA,
someone take them down. Someone that's super smart, way smarter than I'll ever be or you'll ever be. Please, we need someone to just take this organization down.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because it's not going to be pretty.
No.
But that will do it for the show. It was a great show.
Great show.
I thought, we had a lot to talk about. Again, it's just...
we could have had another 20 minutes just on that last topic because it was getting heated.
Yeah, and I said that to you. I didn't want to pass up on this thing because this is something that needs to be talked about now.
No, it does.
So the Hall of Fame game tomorrow, football's back, baby. Football's back. We're excited. The inductions are on Saturday. Check those out. Check out our videos from weeks past.
The NCAA will not be taking any of our money.
Yeah, but Instagram and YouTube are turning into something like that too because
gosh.
We're not even allowed to put some music in it. It's just Instagram's getting bad with that.
2017 is just.
But I hope everybody loved the show. Again, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play. We're trying to get on other websites. I will post what websites we'll be on. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Jerry Naps. You could type in, that's the page name. You could type in Running Up the Score or Tom and Jerry Sports Show. All of that will pop up.
If you want to go on a roller coaster of emotions and ups and downs, start from the Tom and Jerry to where we are now.
Start from the beginning of our shows. I mean, it was me and him. Then it got to a point where I was by myself for a little bit. Then it was with Kevin Donlin. Then a little bit with my girlfriend. And then back with Tom again. So it's definitely been a whirlwind of, just things that have happened with this show, and it's interesting, and we're going to be going on another whirlwind as well. Again,
yes, we are.
But yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes, subscribe to us on everything else. Follow us on Instagram at RUTS Sports. Follow us on Twitter at RUTS Sports. Follow us on Periscope at RUTS Sports.
There's a theme here, people.
Yeah, go like our Facebook page. You can type in RUTS Sports. It'll pop up. But that's basically it. Go to our website, and you will find all of these. If you forget, rutsports.weebly.com. It has everything, and the most recent YouTube video as well. So check those out. And, give us feedback. We'd like to hear some feedback, Periscope, Definitely. Everything. So that will do it for Running Up the Score. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next Wednesday talking sports. Once again, I am Jerry.
And I'm Tom.
Be breezy.
Be breezy.
And it is all over!
You've been listening to Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio.